My heart yearns for the sweet sensations of success. My body tingles for the glowing goddess. The aching that I feel in my hands is a craving for the fertile lands to plant my seeds on fertile soils and to watch my harvest travel from nations to worlds. The gold that is sprinkled on my eyelashes is not reality, but momentary flashes. A peek into what could be an empty ship on an angry sea, sailing on an ocean derived from overflowing streams. My feet wade in a river of wealth, yet I fear it like death. My fantasies have become sweeter than my dreams at night. I am more than just a person. I am an entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to this annual investment meeting, virtual startup pitch competition that is organized by the organizing committee of the annual investment meeting and the Ministry of Economy in the United Arab Emirates in partnership with the Startup Mzansi Foundation. My name is Sandile Shabang, and I'll be your host for today's event. The annual investment meeting is the largest investment platform in the world. It is the initiative of the United Arab Emirates Minister of Economy. The aim has been promoting a healthier global economy by linking investment opportunities to fast-growing economies under six key pillars, that being the foreign direct investments, foreign portfolio investments, small and medium enterprises, startups, and future cities. There's also this other special category that is named One Belt, One Road. So without further ado, I just want to welcome everyone in this exciting initiative that we have come up with to ensure that we extend exciting opportunities in the South African startup ecosystem, of course, in partnership with a variety of stakeholders within the startup ecosystem. Right now, I'm going to be introducing the jury members who have actually joined us. They've taken their time to help us in evaluating, most of these startups that are actually participating within this competition. So without further ado, I would like to introduce His Excellency Prof. Dr. Ambassador Tel Edgars, who is the Group Executive Chairman for GBSH Consult. Again, we also have Mr. Walid Fagal, who is the Director General of the Annual Investment Meeting. In our midst, we also have Mr. Alon Reis, who is the CEO and founder of Reis Corp. We have Dr. Audrey Verjaaghe, who is the chairperson of the South African Innovation Summit. We also have Ms. Dikatso Sipoti, who is the operations director of Perpetuate. We have Dr. Jerry Gule, who is the founder and the CEO of Gule Executive Coaching. We have Dr. Sumari Roth, who is the chairperson of the Silicon Cape Initiative. We have Mr. Vusi Tembegwayo, who is the Chief Executive Officer of My Growth Fund. And of course, I'll be your host for the day. Next up, we're going to be looking at the rules for the day in terms of how we're going to be engaging. So there's a couple of pointers that we just need to pay attention at. First up, each participating startup will be given 5 minutes for their elevator pitch. Next up will be followed by 5 minutes for the Q&A that is by the jury members. And then 2 minutes will be then given to the jury members to evaluate each participating startup via the startup portal. We just want to ensure that we ask this, that you keep yourself muted unless you are speaking. During the Q&A session, That is, once after each and every, once a startup is actually done and finished up their presentation, 2 juries will be allowed to come on stage to ask questions live to the startup. The rest of the jury members will then be able to ask their questions via the chat room. So the chat room is only open. Well, everyone can be able to access that, but it is only the jury members who are allowed, to write on the chat room. That's dedicated for them. So they will be putting their questions there, and the scoring by the juries will, for each participating startup, will take up right after each presentation. That is, and after the Q&A session. So they will be then go to the portal where they will be scoring the startups, of which that's something that we've gone through, and I will have to come back to the portal and then notify us by typing the word done. The scoring will be done through the AIM portal, of which I hope everyone has been able to log into. The next stage then will then to be like introducing the participating startups. I'd just like to first off invite Mlungi Sindlela, who's from Private, who will then be presenting his startup. Mlungi, are you ready? So I just got a message that the first presenter is currently having technical issues. Then we'll then have to go on with the next available startup, which is Farfo. Are you ready? Bashir? We're still waiting for him to be able to connect and come on stage.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, when you're ready, then we can start the time right now.
Good afternoon to my respected judges and the rest of the audience. My name is Bashir Piri, and I'm a co-founder at Farvo. Farvo is an e-commerce platform that enables clients to design their online store using drag and drop design. Within our first few months of launching, Farvo has received incredible feedback from the South African communities and other African countries. Our mission is to harness the power of technology to deliver an innovative and affordable service in Africa. We are taking African economies online and enabling our sellers to reach and better serve more customers. We're creating sustainable impact in Africa by delivering the best user experience and are profitable by design. The team currently consists of myself and 2 other colleagues from UCT and the University of Cape Town, and we have been involved in the startup ecosystem, especially in Cape Town, for a long period. We exist to solve a problem, and the problem is that international e-commerce platforms are not feasible for African startups. They are too expensive, with high commissions, and the worsening exchange rates make prices uncertain. No e-commerce platform gives people the total freedom to create their online store that meets their vision completely and precisely. There's slow e-commerce adoption in Africa, and similar international e-commerce platforms do not consider the needs of the African continent in solving base of the pyramid last mile problems. The solution is Farvo, a platform to create stunning online stores using simple drag and drop design with an admin panel where clients can add products, process orders, and view powerful store analytics. Benefits of Farvo include that it is simple drag and drop design, there is available customizable templates, it is integrated with popular payment gateways, clients get personalized domains and can sell anywhere in the world. Farvo is simple to use. Clients can simply sign up, design their online store using simple drag and drop design, activate the payment gateways, and start selling. It's as simple as that. And one of the benefits includes that we've integrated with other applications, including MailChimp and SEO, to name a few. Here are examples of the stunning online stores that have been created using Farvo. The total e-commerce market in the world is worth $3.6 trillion, and the African market is only worth $19 billion. We believe that there is room for much growth and potential in Africa, and currently we're targeting a serviceable, obtainable market of $3 billion. But why now? There has been a rise in e-commerce in global internet users, and in Africa, Nigeria and South Africa are leading internet adoption. However, there is no e-commerce platform that is tailored specifically for the African market, as international platforms are costly and difficult to use. E-commerce is a future of sales in Africa, and most businesses will need to have an online store on top of their physical store. Favo is the platform that will drive e-commerce adoption in Africa and help those businesses in Africa through its African-focused product. Our business model is B2B monthly subscription with 4 levels: a basic plan, a standard plan, a pro plan, and an advanced plan. And our marketing strategy is to engage with customers on social media, to use influencers to build hype and acquire more customers, and to provide technical support on YouTube through YouTube tutorials and tech guru reviews. Our challenges and potential opportunities are the high data cost in Africa, lack of awareness about e-commerce in Africa, lack of access to hardware such as laptops and other devices, the perception that e-commerce is difficult to start, a lack of trust in online commerce, and an unbanked population. We've launched in April 2020, and within 3 months, we've been able to achieve 41 trial stores, 706 total web traffic, and interest in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Kenya, and Nigeria. Looking forward, our potential areas of revenue generation are charging commissions on sale, developing a non-creative platform for non-creatives, a non-e-commerce platform for creatives, and introducing dropshipping. Our 5-year plan and future technology include developing iOS and Android apps and a support portal, launching a platform for non-e-commerce sites, introducing dropshipping, adding commissions on sale, setting up country-based support systems for clients, and developing a multilingual platform. Thank you for having us, and if there are any questions, we'll be ready to take them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Right now, we're going to be requesting, because the order of how the questions were supposed to be posed by the jury has changed. Then it means that we're still going to go with His Excellency Prof. Dr. Ambassador Tal Edgars and Mr. Walid Fakal to come on stage and ask questions to this participating startup.
One of the judges said that they lost connection and could not hear anything.
We've seen that, trying to ensure that they come back on the stage. Unfortunately, we can't roll back what you've said. It will be available as a recording after the session.
Okay.
And then I'll just give this opportunity to His Excellency to pose questions directly to you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandile, and thank you, Bashir. One of my concerns, and probably because I haven't had you mention it, was there are certain threats to the e-commerce platforms as we speak of them today with new regulation like POPI, GDPR, and PSD2. How well aligned is your organization to deal with these threats in terms of growth or sustainability of your organization?
Okay, thank you for that question. So yes, we are aware of these laws, such as the protection of public information and the general data privacy laws, regulations. And our platform has these privacy policies to counteract any breach or stealing of data. Our platform is secure in terms of security, and we have legal support that helps us ensure that we are up to date with all the developments in the legal space, and that our platform has the legal terms and conditions that protects both the clients, all the parties, the clients, us as the platform creators and owners, as well as the customers who are shopping on the platform. E-commerce is quite challenging, especially with security, where there are a lot of scammers. So we use our legal team to ensure that we are protected and that this does not happen to our clients.
My understanding in regards to what you're saying is that your platform solely depends on the background of your legal team. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, no.
So what exactly is it? Is it a payment service directive gateway you're using? Because then it would also make mention of what kind of sales accelerator you're using to gain clients, which would be a concern. Because then you're dealing with too much personal data and personal information. How different is that from Facebook Weeks, G Suite? I mean, that's the same enablement you're talking about. So I just need clarity on that as well.
Okay, our payment gateways, we use popular payment gateways like, I don't know if you've heard of PayFast. Another one is TrueCheckout. They are quite popular in Africa. And all the information, the transactions are processed through those payment gateways. And in terms of data security and data storage, our platform is quite secure, and we've never had any issues of breaches, and we don't expect any issues of breaches in future. And we don't store or sell any data like Facebook, if that's another concern.
Okay. Thanks, Sandile.
Other questions, or should I answer the questions in the chat?
I have a question, Bashir, regarding how you are doing the verification of the suppliers in their online store in terms of the genuinity of the product being sold. How you are sure that those suppliers are already existing.
Can you please repeat that? I did not get it.
You are open for suppliers to open their online stores in the platform, right?
Yes.
How you are verifying that those suppliers are existing and they are genuine with their products?
Okay, so we have to, emails are verified before they can access a store, and the access link is sent to them through their email. So only when someone uses their email to access the store do they have access to the store. So they don't just get access. And on top of that, we do randomly check all the activity of the different clients on our platform to make sure that they are indeed selling. And if we notice any activity that is suspicious, then we send a message and try to communicate with them.
Okay. And for the payment, you are only offering the payment upfront. They have to pay through the platform itself, or they can make the payment on delivery only. And how you are the cash flow of the payment if it's on delivery?
You mean that when customers buy from the online stores, or when the clients purchase a plan? When
online stores, yes.
It is online only for now, but we'll include cash on delivery as well.
Okay.
There's been other questions, but unfortunately you run out of time. Ideally, we would have loved to, to hear how much money are you looking for, and how do you integrate with the existing stuff, payment gateways and all of that. But unfortunately, your time is out for this round, so we can only invite the next startup, to participate with their pitch.
Right, no problem. Thank you for having me, and I hope I answered all questions clearly and concisely.
No, that's all right. Now we're going to be moving on to the next startup. So you'll be taken off screen, and then we move on to the scoring. I mean to say, we'll go on and allow the jury members to log on to the AIM portal, where they will be then scoring your startup with their details. So we're just gonna take about 2 minutes for that exercise.
Okay.
All right then. Thank you.
No problem.
We are still waiting for the other jury members. If you're done, can you please inform us via the chat, just by typing the word "done," so that we are right. I think we have Dr. Jerry, who's been citing connectivity issues. I don't know how far are you when it comes to that, and then we still waiting for the rest of the confirmations. Once you have done with this, once you are done with the scoring, then you can just inform us on the chat room. I think what we'll do, we'll then go on to the next participating startup. That's going to be Godoti. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am ready when the judges are ready.
I think I don't know about Dr. Jerry, if he is still able to do that. He was citing connectivity issues. But I think we can just proceed with that. He will be able to catch up.
Cool.
Yeah. Your time starts now.
Everyone, thank you very much for having us. I am Gift Lubele, and I believe in a world where waste is valued. And I strongly believe that the African continent can be the next leader when it comes to circular economy. We're from Godoti. We are a scalable digital platform for efficient waste management and recycling in the African continent. Unfortunately, at the moment, Africa is not a leader when it comes to circular economy. In fact, my team and I spend a lot of time trying to understand the challenges the waste management industry is facing. And we found these really interesting challenges. The first one is that there's a lot of inefficiencies within this industry caused by paper-based processes. Second to that, there's a lot of resources wasted by manual services in places where these services could be easily automated. And unfortunately, this leads to very low margins among key waste stakeholders. So in response to these challenges, what we do is the following. Firstly, we streamline processes and digitization. What that means is we work with waste management companies to essentially eliminate all unnecessary processes in their operations. Second to that, we increase efficiency through optimization. What that means is we work with these waste management companies to essentially help them use the resources that they have in the most efficient way possible. And lastly, we improve performance and analytics through measuring key activities within the waste industry. What really excites me about our platform is the fact that it covers three major key stakeholders within the waste industry. Our platform is suitable for recycling SMEs, for the informal sector, and also big waste management companies through these three functionalities: digitization, coordination, and optimization. As you can see here, really, our platform has benefits to all these three stakeholders. Take waste management companies, for example. We help them with analytics. The recycling SMEs, we help them by collecting data. And the informal waste sector, we help them by automating interactions through SMSs, WhatsApp, and even chatbots, for example. What really excites me is the fact that we managed to take our technology and build two different business models out of it. The first one being software as a service, where our users essentially pay us a monthly subscription fee. And the other one is a platform as a service. Now, what that means really is we are able to go with our current technology in environments where there is very little or no infrastructure or recycling infrastructure, that is, and we're able to build new solutions from scratch using our technology. With our target market being waste management companies, municipalities, and informal waste pickers. What really excites me is that as of May 2020, we were actually post-revenue, and we have about 100,000 rands in the pipeline as a monthly recurring revenue. And we project to be making about 1.2 million in the first 12 months of full operation. And as you can see by the map here, we have clients already who are paying and using our beta version. We haven't even launched this yet, but we already have people who are actually paying for our services. And it's not limiting to South Africa. As we're a platform, we already have other projects in parts of the African continent, which is really exciting for me. Coming back to South Africa, we looked at the market and we're looking at about 24 billion rands in the waste market. And out of that, we deduced that about 9.5% of that could be technology, which is about 2.2 billion. And out of the 2.2 billion technology market, we as Kudoti are very confident that we can get 45% of that market, which is about 950 million. What excites me is this market grows every single year at a rate of 8.5%. Our go-to-market is interesting as well because we are actually leveraging already existing relationships to build out our client base, in the sense that our early adopters have already started paying and using our services, and they're referring us to other key stakeholders within the recycling industry. The plan really is to continue forming these partnerships, and so we get to a point where we have an omni-channel, or rather a multi-stakeholder integrated waste management platform. And this is the team. We have Chris, who's our CPO, 15 years in product development, myself as the COO. We have Matthew, who is just completed his master's, and we have Kola, who's our development lead. That is all from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. For this round, we then have to ask our jury to come on stage so that they can pose questions to you pertaining your startups. And the rest of the jury members will then be able to ask the questions via the chat box. What I'm just requesting is that if we're asking a question, and maybe from your responses, Gift, try to keep them short and precise so that you can be able to accommodate a bit more questions.
Absolutely.
Right. I'll start off with Mr. Alon.
Thank you. From our perspective, Gift, just two questions. The first is, how much money are you asking for, if you're asking for any, because that seemed to be a product presentation, not an investment presentation. So are you looking for money? If so, how much, and when would you pay it back, and how? And my second question, impressive that you've got 100,000 of recurring revenue. How did you actually get that? Did you go knock on doors? How did you get that business?
Yeah, thanks, Alan. So we're looking for 3 million. The money is going to be about, if I were to break it down in percentage, 45% of that is going to go into our product development. And then 30% is going to go into essentially team expansion. The rest is essentially, I'd say, working capital. So the reason we got to 100,000 rands in the current pipeline is that we already have someone who's paying us about 60,000 rands per month, and it's just one client, and it's a beta model. So it's a beta version. We haven't really launched our first version as yet. So it is quite, I guess, possible for us to even surpass 100,000 rands per month with the current pipeline that we have today.
How did you didn't answer my question. How did you get that?
Yeah,
how did you get it?
Right. So the company that we are working with is Distel. They're based in Cape Town, the beverage company. So they actually they've been doing a recycling project in Khayelitsha, trying to work with the informal waste pickers, but they didn't have a recycling infrastructure to essentially record the activities that they do. What they want to do is work with these informal waste pickers to give them things like equipment, some training, and all of that. But they don't have any infrastructure, and that falls in our platform as a service. We went to them and we were able to build a new platform from scratch that essentially helps them with things like monitoring the activities that they do with these informal waste pickers. What's interesting is that we also are getting some data from these informal waste pickers that could be used for their reporting.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna give this opportunity to Mr. Vusi to ask his questions.
Yeah, hi, Gift. Great presentation. I'm curious about understanding your pricing model. So you've got this 60,000 Rand customer that you've signed up, but in my mind, I want to understand the scalability of your pricing model, and I want to understand the margins built into the pricing at a per unit cost, say, both for the software and the platform, and then just help me understand what your break-even points look like.
Yeah. So at the moment, we have essentially a pricing model, particularly for software as a service. The platform as a service essentially varies in the sense that we go and kind of assess the problem. For example, with what we're doing with Distel, there's no solid pricing. If we get another project from a different client, we might have a different pricing. But just looking at the software as a service, we have different packages starting from about 1,500 all the way to about 3,000, and these are particularly meant for different stakeholders with different benefits. Speaking about the costs of our technology, at the moment we have one guy who's doing our development for about 25,000 rands per month, and so that we have just essentially broken it down into things like actual development, testing of the actual new features that we're putting in place. But all in all, it cost us about 25,000 rands per month to have this individual on board who is continually building this platform for us.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure that my questions were answered, but maybe let me come. I'm cognizant of time. Sorry, Tel, but let me come at it differently. I want to just basically understand what you've just said. Now is for the platform, we don't have a pricing. We go and understand what the client's budget is, and then we'll fit ourselves into that. And for the software, we have some sort of per unit cost, but we're not sure what that is either. Am I understanding it correctly?
Not quite. So we do have pricing. We do have pricing for our clients, and we do have pricing for our cost of making the product. So the reason I summarized it to 25,000 Rand is because we are now at a beta model, and we have about, I'd say, 4 clients in the pipeline. We haven't broken it down into how much the client acquisition cost would be, because it's a better model. I think once we've launched our first version, we would essentially have a much more clear visibility as to how much it kind of cost us. But at the moment, everyone that we have on the platform is using. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's what we have for now. That's the time is up, so we then have to then request the jury to go onto the portal, where they will be then scoring your presentation. So jury members, you can go ahead and go onto the portal and score Gudoti. Thank you for the presentation. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're still waiting for the next, for all the other jury members to be able to notify us if they're done. In the meantime, you can get ready with the presentation for Tsilatsu. Yeah, I think everyone is done. You can go ahead, and your time starts now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity that you've granted me as part of Tsilatsu. My name is Kiahile Deni Moka. And just to give you just the background of Tsilatsu, Tsilatsu, for those who don't know, is an idiom that has a dual translation, meaning a clear road ahead or best of luck on your journey. The founding mission statement for Tsilatsu is in creating a self-sustaining environment for any organization, for the organization and its employees, whereby we want to enrich our communities with the required skills, enabling them to live out their own individual dreams. Tsilatsu's service offering draws from content production, broadcast services, equipment leasing, production facilities, content commercialization, and product support. Just to give you a rundown of our existence, the timeline. So Tsilatsu was born in 2013, began its operations 2016. That's when I myself formally left the corporate world to pursue this dream. In 2017, we landed our first big contract from a broadcaster in the name of SuperSport, whereby we started doing highlights packages and started doing some ad clips for them. 2018 saw us land 2 additional contracts in the form of SABC Sport and UNISA. It was in this year as well where we got selected to be part of the SAP Foundation Entrepreneurship Program. This year as well we discovered during our growth journey, we had an idea to actually build and go forth, grow the company to another level, given what was happening within the digital environment in the world. So that saw the birth of Red Life TV. In 2019, we started the build of Red Life TV, the online distribution platform. Red Life TV, authentically African. Red Life TV is essentially an African SVOD online distribution platform, whereby it offers content producers an opportunity to showcase their work, while they retain their distribution rights and earn an income as long as their work remains on the platform. Red Life TV is easy to consume, will provide easy to consume content, is flexible, and will give African stories. Red Life TV is built on a mission to promote and distribute locally produced content creatively to a global scale. This is one of the landing page of Red Life TV on the website, on the web-based service. Why Red Life TV? Africa has many untold stories. Within these stories, now more than ever, given the digital age that's evolving, Africa needs to tell its own stories. Locally produced content over the past couple of years has been at the forefront of locally and globally, and Red Life TV promises to redistribute this content, creating a platform for content producers and the consumers who's looking for African content. With the future of television rapidly moving into the digital world, we've seen companies such as the likes of Netflix, Showmax, iFlix start to heavily invest into the digital platforms, especially in Africa. What this has done is, but they all have something in common. The majority of these companies that are already present within the African market, all have one thing in common, and that is that they do not prioritize African content producers and do not put them at the forefront, whereby Africa's got so much to share with the rest of the world. So what Red Life TV essentially does then is puts that local content and African content at the forefront of all of the platform, whereby content creators are able to create a platform for themselves and create a living for themselves. how will this be? How is good on the house? So Red Love TV it's a streaming platform. So meaning that we are gonna it's a SVOD. So sorry about that. It's gonna be based on subscription. It's a subscription-based platform, which is what you've seen over the recent months and years, especially during the pandemic that's currently happening now. The digital industry has actually increased in leaps and bounds. Just alone in the past 3 months, you've seen an increase of over 50% of the local players in terms of
looking at my time. Your time is now up. So apologies for the frozen screen on the timer that's there. Unfortunately, that's all we can take right now. So we're gonna be inviting our jury back on stage. We have Dr. Audrey and Dikatso. Over to you.
Thank you. Daniel, thank you for the presentation. I just have a quick question around the research that went into this. How do we know whether Africans actually want a platform where African stories are shared? So just take us through a little bit more around the research that went into it. And please just also touch on your financials. So how well have you done so far? And then I'll let the other jurors just ask questions as well.
With regards to the research, thank you for your question, Kato. With regards to the research given, we've seen over the past couple of years the majority of international broadcasters who actually bring in their own journalists and producers into our African continent to actually seek stories in Africa, whereby this actually shows us and tells us that there are stories that are actually being told out there, but not by Africans, essentially. So which has created a market and an opportunity for Africans to actually tell their own stories. In a sense, just to answer here, I don't know if I'm answering it properly, but at the same time, what this has done essentially is creating an opportunity, showing that what you can see as well that's going out there is that we are starting to see a lot more African stories on global platforms, whereby you're getting interest from majority of international-based companies coming into African platform, or coming into Africa to get content.
Okay.
Can I also ask you a question? In terms of traction, how many subscribers do you have at the moment? And I'm going to ask a second question as well. So I first want to know how many followers, how much action have you actually created? Then explain to us how you make money, and the contributors to your platform, how do they make money? Or is it on a volunteer basis? So a little bit about your value chain, supply value chain, and then how you make money and how do they make money, and how much traction do you have at the moment?
So at the moment, what we've done is we did a soft launch. We've built a web-based platform and the Android platform, Android app. We did a soft launch just to go as a go-to in market, and within the first 2 weeks of soft launching, just to test the market, we were able to actually acquire close to about 200 downloads within the first week with the content that we had. So the current content that we have is content that we've got in our own library, of things that we've shot, and we've collaborated with guys who have ownership of Joy of Jazz and so forth. We're currently speaking to the National Video and Film Foundation, and are close to actually drawing a deal with them whereby their library, they've got a wide library, and putting their library onto our platform. So how we make money from this is from subscription, and how the content producer also makes money from this is subscription. So it's going to be, the revenue is going to be based on a revenue share split, whereby, say for example, we go 70-30 on net, based on total subscribers that we have on the platform. So the platform is subscription based. We're looking at introducing the platform at about 49 Rand a month. And based on the numbers and based on how much the completed views per per content for the producer. That will actually determine how much money they actually make at the end of the day. Then from there, we take the net thereof and make a split accordingly.
All right. Thank you for that. I think your time is up. We just have to fix the issue on the screen there. But when I'm looking at my timer here, your time is up. Unfortunately, we can't take some of the questions that are coming from the jury. We would have loved to give you that opportunity, but we can't take them. So now it's time for the jury members to go on to the portal and score the participating startup. Thank you so much for the pitch.
Thank you.
Good luck. Lulu is saying for 30 minutes. I don't know.
Time for one more question.
Yeah, I think we can take one question. I think Mr. Alon asked, how much money are you raising, and how do you plan on paying back?
So far, we're actually looking at raising close to about 300,000 Rand, just so that we can actually complete the build of our internet, our iOS app, and as well as to provide us with the marketing for marketing as well.
All right, time's up. Jury members can go and score. I just want to request my colleagues to. It does look like the jury is scoring of the startups. Now we'll go on to the next participating startup, East. Are you ready?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm ready.
Your time has started.
My name is Ponso. I'm from Yellow Beast P2 Ltd, which is a clean tech company that makes and sells Nosetsa, which is a digital water use efficiency add-on for water management and crop production. Because globally, we're experiencing climate change, which results in water shortages. And on top of that, much of the water that is allocated goes to agriculture. Despite calls for water use reduction across all sectors, food producers have a difficult task of increasing their food supply amidst the growing population with the same or less water resources. And on farms, which are food production units, specifically 1 hectare of land, experience natural evaporation, imprecise human-related over-irrigation, as well as leaching of water beyond the effective root depth. And we're proposing a precise solution that provides a machine learning service to provide a self-learning and self-regulating autonomous irrigation by using real-time data to avoid evaporation, prevent over-irrigation, and ensure plant health, save resources and costs. Now how it works, you have a network of sensors out in the field communicating with a controller, picking up whether it's daytime or nighttime, and that information is fed to a valve that is plugged and played onto existing irrigation tech, like your center pivot and so forth. and that can deploy water as and when it's necessary. Because on a farmer can easily lose 1.5 millimeters of water per week per hectare, and that can amount to up to 750 kiloliters per year on each hectare, which is about 23,000 rands that can be lost. And the people who can otherwise benefit from this include your very large commercial farmers who have a significant water use footprint, tend to be the hardest hit by drought in terms of lost revenue and have a risk appetite for novel solution. And similar to them, but small in size and supplying to them at times, is your next adjacent segment. And lastly, the subsistent farmer, who is the breadwinner, so to speak, because they may have weak access to global markets, but they have strong access to local markets, and it's quite labor intensive and can benefit from the water savings hypothesis that is promised here. In terms of the land that is already under irrigation, that's about 190,000 hectares, but the potential that can be developed for irrigation is about up to 2 million. And on the continent of Africa, you're looking at about 30 million hectares. To think that we're alone in this space is naive, because some companies already measure the plant growth stage of crops and inform water needs autonomously. But our product looks at the soil and crop root interface, as well as whether it's daytime or nighttime, to effect that change. Other companies use drones to measure crop health. And we're looking at what goes on below the ground and then use that with environmental data to provide now your machine learning platform. And while some other organizations use soil probes and sensors to prompt users to adjust their irrigation needs, ours relies on the machine learning platform to provide a self-learning and self-regulating method. And lastly, some other companies are platforms that look at satellite imagery to determine water availability, but we view them more as possible collaborators. I myself, I'm an engineering technician. I've collaborated with soil scientists and to develop the concept up to so far. My time is frozen.
No, you can go ahead. I have a timer, so I'll tell you.
Okay. And we're looking at now, when developing the machine learning platform, having coders, as well as people who will help us with collecting data points that can be used as references, and much later on, people in sales. We don't have products out sold as yet. However, we have gained some recognition in the form of grant and competitions. South African Brewers Kickstarter Ignite gave us a major cash injection some time ago, which then led to organizations like the Water Research Commission recognizing us. And then that also influenced organizations like the Technology Innovation Agency to sponsor our prototype development. And that also sort of gave us recognition in the form of press time and radio exposure. In terms of the business model, we are looking at a razor and blade business model where you buy the product itself and then you subscribe onto the machine learning platform service. And if the product is expensive, there's a rent to own method that we will follow. And in terms of the subscription, we're looking at it dualistically so that you can pay for the savings and you split that, as well as you subscribing for the platform. We're currently in July now, where we were anticipating to deploy at least 5 units that can be used to develop the machine learning platform. And we're hoping that we can multiply that number by 10x in the next year and another 10x in the following year. Thanks.
Time is up. All right, thank you so much for that. We're gonna be inviting our jury members on stage. Those ones that have the invitation, then they can come up. We have Dr. Sumari, and we have His Excellency. So you can go ahead and start asking the questions. The time starts now.
Hi, Pancho. Sumari here. Thank you for your presentation. Well done. I heard you let out a little sigh at the beginning, but you did well. So well done to you. My question to you, Pancho, is really around the technology itself. I'd like to understand a little bit more proprietary and what isn't, and whether also there are open source aspects to your innovation.
Okay. In terms of proprietary information, we are collaborating with a product developer and original equipment manufacturer. It's Vaal University of Technology in partnership with Tecmo Automation. They're in Vanderbilt Park in Gauteng. And that creates a protection around the development of this kind of technology itself. What we have is very versatile and also plug and play. And it's quite different in that it's an add-on onto existing technology. In terms of open source aspects, where we started with the concept, I personally had to learn things like Arduino and programmed it myself so that it can, when it's dark and it's dark outside and the soil is dry, it can activate a tap. I literally did that process on my own in the very early stages. And then I just had to scale that up and communicate that to an original equipment manufacturer. And in terms of, I'm seeing Mr. Reyes owns the IP. To be quite honest, when I engaged with the original equipment manufacturer, they did advise that there is not a significant amount of novelty. However, the fact that it is only able to be produced by a specific set of people makes that difficult to replicate by other people, unless if they have inside info.
So Pancho, just to build on that, so you actually...
Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Sumari. Go
sorry,
right
you
ahead.
didn't, thank you. You didn't build the device yourself. Somebody else has built the device and you're using what they've built, and you have though developed software on your own that integrates with this device then to give you what you want. Is that correct?
To clarify, the things like soil probes, for example, we don't manufacture those. However, using that to inform the machine learning platform, as well as the housing that we have, the ones that you saw in the slides here, those are developed by the original equipment manufacturer.
Okay, so you are not selling intellectual property. What you are selling then is the actual, so your model is you make money from selling the subscription to be able to use this device. Is that correct?
And also on the water that you would have saved. So in other words, the money that you would have lost from some of the losses that you saved, that's where we make our money. And then I'm seeing another question in the chat.
Just quickly so that I can be able to also address a few things here. Just two questions right off the top is.
No.
Okay.
What happened to my connection?
No, your connection is still fine.
Okay, I didn't hear anything from His Excellency there. Can you please repeat that?
I think he's having a challenge when it comes to connectivity.
Oh.
Sandile, do you want me to chat about?
There's another question. There's another question I'd like to answer as well, in terms of how do I get clients, and what the sales cycles are. The sales cycles are quite long. We have to wait for a farmer to say this is when we're planting. Then we can sort of feng shui our schedule into there so that we can deploy our products and then we go along with them. In terms of getting clients, in March, we validated using this method of communicating with a very big farming audience. At the African Agri Council, we managed to pitch, just as we pitch now, as I pitch now, to an audience. And the reception was quite well because there was a lot of enthusiasm and interest. Come on, now it's my page.
His Excellency is better. Your time is expired, so can we get a question from him?
Hi, Sandile. Hi, Poncho. Very, first off, great presentation you made, but my question would primarily be based on, you said you received a cash injection some time back. What did you use it on? And number two, how much are you looking for? And what are you going to use that for in the next 6 months, given that you are looking for a certain amount of money? Because you never did mention what you're looking for. And are you primarily given it's an add-on? Is this more based on R&D?
Prof, I think he
went offline as well.
Yes, we just lost him.
Okay.
So I will try to obviously.
I'm back.
We can't.
Please.
He's back
His
online now.
Excellency, repeat the question. I didn't hear anything.
All right, Poncho. I think time is up on this side, so I'll give Sandile a right to make the next move.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be fair for the other ones, but you didn't even get the opportunity to answer that question based on the limitations of technology and all of that. I think we just have to move on to the next phase where we have the jury members, evaluate your startup on the portal.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you once again for the opportunity. So,
no, great presentation. Thank you. Jury members, once you've done, you can then just inform us, like as we're doing it. Right. I think our jury members are all done. What is happening right now is that one of the startup who's supposed to be pitching, Mlungisi, just got informed that he cannot be able to join us online. Therefore, it means that all the participating startups have actually finished with their presentations. What I'm thinking right now, because now we have 4 startups that have done with the presentations, we'll then move on and just to the 4 participating startups and with the request, I'm requesting permission for my colleagues to allow each one of them just to have a final 1 or 2 minutes taken from the time that was supposed to be given for to Mlungisi, just to add on closing remarks and probably touch on some of the questions that they couldn't be able to to look at. I think that can be done. Just try to get that message across from my members that we invite the 4 participating startups. Each will be getting 2 minutes, and then just to make their own final words. We have a gift. Oh, Danny. We have.
Sorry, Sandile, just to clarify, you're asking us to share our final remarks or to answer some of the questions that we couldn't answer before?
I think it will be fair to give you the opportunity, to do that at this stage. So we're giving you 2 minutes, each of you, just your final words, so that the jury members can then go ahead and reevaluate the scores that probably done that, because there was a request to say that can they review the scoring. So 2 minutes, it starts now.
Okay. Do we go in the same order? Like, does Bashiri start and I follow? Or...
In the same order, the one that you guys followed before, in terms of the presentations.
All right. When will my time start? I see it's frozen at 2 minutes.
I'm gonna start my own time.
Okay.
I'll get my own timer.
Okay.
So 2 minutes starting now.
All right. Question being, how will you get clients and what is your budget for this? We get clients primarily through social media marketing and influencer marketing. People see our post and send us messages and we communicate with them. Some people land on our website and start their trials from there and they enjoy the experience. And that's when they subscribe and start working on their stores. The budget for this, we have not raised any funding at the moment, so we use our own funds. We spent around 10,000 rand so far. And we look into when we raise our funding, we will spend much more on marketing. Next question is, how much money are you looking for and how will it be spent? And how do you value your business? So we're currently looking to raise $500,000 and we want to use this money on improving and building up our platform and to spend a lot of money on expanding our team, bringing more experienced people in the e-commerce space in Africa, both in tech and in customer sales and customer support. We'll also be we'll also be using this money to build our non-e-commerce platform, and the rest of it will be used for working capital. The next question is our approach to payment gateways. So payment gateways, it depends on the country that the clients are in. When we use the most popular payment gateway in that country, these payment gateways are secure with the 3D PCI. They are PCI compliant and have 3D secure checkout. Another question is, does the system easily integrate into all types of websites? So the system is not a plugin; it's a full platform in its own, just like Shopify.
Your time is expired. Can we move on to the next one?
Okay, thank you.
And this is an opportunity for the jury members to reevaluate. If they want to reevaluate the scores, then they can just go ahead. For the next startup.
So I think I was next. So I think the question that Vusi asked was around some of the key metrics that we're using to measure our, for example, client acquisition cost. In response to that, I think what I wanted to say was we are at the moment just a bit early stages in regards to having the data, but we do have metrics set in place to measure our costing for development and also client acquisition cost. So, for example, I actually went and looked at our sales pipeline on HubSpot. Now, I'm realizing now that the average is about 2,000 rands to get a client for at least some of the clients that we have now in the pipeline. But again, these clients are currently using our beta version, which is exciting because we're learning as we go. And most of the costs are a bit different. So from the platform as a service, it's entirely different to what we do with the software as a service. The technology is the same, but the business models are quite different in the sense that the platform as a service, we essentially go to either big corporates who want to engage in waste projects or at least recycling related projects, and they want to kind of work with us. We then use that we use the platform as a service model, and we kind of follow a process where we work with them to truly understand the problem and also kind of the solution that we will be providing, and we then charge that. The software as a service one, it's also tracked. We do have several metrics, but the technology fundamentally is the same with two different business models.
Can you go on to the next one?
Hi guys, in closing, looking at the last question that I couldn't answer, with regards to the differentiator and with regards to the competition that's currently faced out there within the SWOT space. As Red Life, what we do, we offer an alternative whereby majority of the content that we are going to put on is essentially authentic content, meaning that we're concentrating more on content that has not been put at the forefront of the viewer and the consumer at the same time. So we're looking for organic, up and coming young talent that is unable to tap into that market, but has got the talent to actually be within that market. And this is, you can see this through the numbers that are growing in terms from a viewership perspective, whereby you see on channels such as Zanti Magic, Moja Love, where you get real authentic African stories that are told, and the viewership there is skyrocketing on a month-to-month, on a weekly basis, essentially. So just to answer that question, that's what we're going for. So we are providing an alternative that will bridge the gap for talent to create their own name on a global scale. And this speaks much to the amount of awards that the guys within the industry are actually receiving in international accolades, essentially, from SAFTAs and Canons all over the world. But then yet they don't get recognized on platforms that are currently out there for consumers to be a part of. Thank you.
Your time is expired. I can then move on to the next one. Punto.
Oh, it's my turn. Yeah, I think there's three main questions I couldn't answer. The first one is, how do we get clients and what are our sales cycles? So as I was explaining, sales cycles are quite long. We're looking at a yearly sales cycle. It takes a bit of effort to get to a decision as to what to buy and when to buy it, and from a very large, commercial farmer's perspective. So we're looking at yearly sales cycles. In terms of how we get customers, how we get clients, it's a bit of a tricky one. Pre-COVID-19 lockdown regulations, it was a matter of just go to farming events and suss out what it is that people are into, and also engage. And if you can secure a customer from such an interaction, follow up with a visit immediately. What we've managed to validate post-COVID during lockdown was to pitch at an event in this manner similar to this. And we actually got valuable feedback where people were like, okay, we like what you're selling. If it's too early stage, come back at a later stage. If it's ready, we're ready to buy. Secondly, in terms of IP, as I mentioned, we're working with an original equipment manufacturer, so it makes it quite difficult to copy what it is that we're doing. Just by looking at the product itself, it's very difficult to discern what it is that can and can't be done. So that's one of the ways we protect ourselves from that. But if there's anything that can be novel as we are deploying these products and units and studying them and validating some of the hypotheses, and IP emanates from that, that can definitely be pursued and protected. And lastly, in terms of how much money we need, we are pretty much running on grants. We've been getting grants from competitions. We got a grant from the Water Research Commission. The last one we got was to the value of 1.1 million rands. And Technology Innovation Agency funded the prototype development to the value of 800,000 rands or more. So, time's up. Okay.
Thank you so much, guys, for the pitches. Members of the jury, I'm sure you may have then reevaluated the participation startups. I just don't know from the team that if we are able to invite the jury members on stage, and then we will just ensure that everyone is well ahead with, okay. All right. So once you are done with this scoring, please inform us via the chat room. so that we can then finalize the score for each participating startup. Yeah, we're still waiting for the colleagues to confirm our scores so that we can know who is the winner for this pitch round. We're just gonna be I'm trying to confirm. Zohaib, can you please ensure that I have the name correctly? Apologies for the delay. Right, whilst we are waiting for the name of who has emerged top for this competition, I just want to say thank you to every participating stakeholder in this competition. It is very much like trying times, as our world grapples with the pandemic, and there's just like a lot of things that are happening around the world. I just want to commend the participating startups for the effort that you have shown today. This is indeed has been like an exciting experience to listen to each one of you. I know the expectations, I know the work that you have put towards ensuring that you participate in this. I know the work that you do on the ground. I know what it means to be an entrepreneur, hustling and building up something out of nothing, trying to ensure that people get your idea, are able to communicate with you in various ways, and ensuring that you make money at the end of the day. It's very, very difficult with this COVID-19 pandemic. Things have actually changed. So I just want to say congratulations on the particular startups that you're actually building. We are very, very excited, for these opportunities that will unfold after this. Now I have the list of the right. In what I'm seeing on my screen right now, I can confirm that Kudoti has emerged as the winner of this virtual startup pitch competition organized by the annual investment meeting in partnership with the Startup Mzansi Foundation, and of course, a variety of a lot of stakeholders within the ecosystem. I just want to say thank you and congratulations to Kudoti. I hope this makes you happy. We acknowledge the efforts that you've put in. I'm gonna give you, an opportunity to speak, Gift.
Yeah.
I don't know if your mic is.
Yeah, I'm on now. Thank you very much. I just want to say that we are learning as we go along, and I think I was very happy to just meet all the amazing judges that are here. Most of you guys, I follow your work online, from you, Sandile, all the way to Gilebukhile, Vusi, Alan. I'm so inspired by the work that you guys do, and I think I just would love to continue learning from you. Some of the things that we are currently, or some of the questions I might have not answered quite correctly, but I would like to kind of invite you as the judges and my fellow startups as well to kind of help us in growing, because I do believe that we can't do this on our own, and we screw up and we kind of pick ourselves up and we grow. So I definitely would like to stay in touch with all the startups and kind of know what they do, but also intentionally kind of get more learnings from the amazing experts that have joined us today. And so I thank you. I thank you very much.
No, thank you so much. And the messages that are coming through from the judges, I think maybe if we can give each judge a minute or so to air and express their some words, I think that will actually make me happy as well. So I'd like to request from the team to actually include the judges so that they can speak some words, share some words with us. I've seen they've been sharing like with whatever they want to say on the chat. So I'd like to give this opportunity to them to actually address you. Yeah, and that's going to happen just now. My team is busy. Yes, you can go ahead, His Excellency.
I'm giving chance and priority to the exceptional women who are on this particular platform, so I cannot go first.
All right, so we can have probably Dr. Sumari or Dr. Audrey. I don't know who would like to go first.
Audrey,
okay,
go
I'll give it a go. Congratulations to all the startups. I know that you're all very, very early stage, except the media company, which is actually in a second stage of your business. What I liked is that I could see that any of these businesses could become a good business, and they were really solving real problems with real solutions, and I think that's always a good place to start. So congratulations to the winner. I think it's a very impactful business that you're running, and very useful business that you run. And then one company that I really want to highlight is the online shopping company that creates an opportunity for anybody anywhere in Africa to create an online digital space. When I speak to many companies that come through in South Africa, especially the CEDAW process, then some of them don't even have websites. So I think there's a technology path that we need to walk, and you are a solution to that, a real solution to that. And I think your offering is really scalable, and so is absolutely everybody. The online publishers, I also think your storytelling from Africa to the world, I love it. I think it's scalable. Of course, I need much more time with you to really understand the nitty-gritties of that. But from my side, I actually want to tell both of those companies, from a summit perspective, we can really give you also wings to showcase your message. And Startup Mzansi, if they come from your doors, we want to celebrate the work that you do. Congratulations. I think that's what we always needed, is this African story, the African to the world story, and that it's clearly scalable, that you can clearly make money out of it. So congratulations, guys. Job well done. Getting so excited, this S-curve that we're seeing in Africa, it's just burning. The flame is burning. It's going to go so big and so far, and all the jobs that's going to be created by entrepreneurs. We're going to be so bored by universities, big business, and government services, because the tech entrepreneur is going to change the narrative. And I'm behind you. I love what you do. Congratulations.
Dr. Sumari?
Thank you to everyone just for the opportunity to witness some of this magic that is really happening on this incredible continent that we find ourselves in. So also to my fellow judges, it's great to have spent some time with you today, and I hope that we will build relationships beyond this competition too. Then really to all of the participants that have pitched here today, I just want to say to you how inspiring. Those are the words I'm left with, and it's really what Audrey also just spoke about, is how inspiring to see young, gifted people trying to develop African solutions to African problems. And that's really what came across for me today is homegrown innovation, which I always find inspiring. And that is also at Silicon Cape, what we primarily support is around homegrown solutions to our own problems. I think what I also loved is that many of the startups are really looking to address some of the sustainable development goals. Maybe that wasn't a primary objective of what they're doing, but by default, they are addressing, many of them are actually addressing environmentally related concerns. So that for me was fantastic. And then it really reminded me what somebody said the other day when a statement was made about African innovation, and they said Africa is the next frontier. And today really made me reflect on that statement. And I'd like to change it a little bit and leave you with this parting thought. I don't think Africa is the next frontier. I think it is the frontier. Thank you to all of you. Well done, and keep on inspiring us, please.
Thank you. His Excellency.
I would be remiss if I had to leave one of the ladies not speak before me, so I'd practically prefer if she spoke before me. Would that be okay?
No, that's very, very much okay.
All right.
So we can...
Thanks. So I echo the same sentiment. It's really, really encouraging to see young people still, thinking very creatively, and taking up space within, this country that we live in. So, and I mean, I know some of you guys personally, so to see where you guys have started and how much you've actually, how many funds you guys have raised so far, the kind of markets that you guys are playing in right now is incredible. I'm very, very proud of the growth. I'm proud of you guys as well for taking on the opportunities that you see coming your way as well. I think there were two main things that I wanted to touch on. With most of the businesses, you didn't really touch much around the financials, so your revenue streams, your costs, and so forth. It's important for any kind of pitching competition to highlight that. So we want to know the story, of course, which is perfect, but please also focus on the financials, just so that we have a good understanding of where your business is at and where you're trying to grow to. Another element is around sustainability. You need to be able to show us that this business that you're building has some kind of thought process around sustainability. Outside of that, yeah, I think those are my biggest contributions in terms of feedback. Otherwise, I'm very proud of you guys, and please continue to keep your dreams alive. Thank you.
Gentlemen, then it's up to you. Who goes first?
Alan, I'll give you first stage, Alan. Go ahead.
You're too kind. Okay, from my perspective, a couple of points here. First of all, I see this mistake happen often in pitching competitions. There's two types of pitches. There's a pitch for investment and a pitch to sell your product. Today, this was a pitch to sell your product. As an investor, we're sitting here as judges, as investors, with the hat of an investor on, because that's how I understand it. It's not to buy your product. So for me, the emphasis, as said before, should be definitely on the financials. What do you want? How are you going to pay it back? Why should I believe you? It's very much, here's the problem, here's the product, this is why we can deliver, and this is how much we need, and this is how we're going to pay you back. That's sort of thematically how it should go. I didn't feel that today. So that for me is, if you are going to be doing this again, then I think you should consider that. The second thing is around the competitions as well. To me, what I get concerned with is that you have professional pitchers, people who go to pitching competition after pitching competition in order to raise money. Now, I get it. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been there. But at some point, you've got to deliver. You have to go and deliver. You cannot go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And to me, I would not even put that in the pitching, because it just feels like you're just collecting cash wherever you can. I call that promiscuity. So you're pitching promiscuity. It's a promiscuous journey. So that to me is something also to note. My last point is really about the businesses. If you follow my work, you'll know that I've been for the last 20 years very much focused on entrepreneur and not the business. I've written a book called Lose the Business Plan. I don't believe in them. When I see the graphs, I've seen 2 pictures already today before this. They all have the same J-curve graph. And I'm sure Vusi sees the same thing. All of you see the same thing. Year 1, I need lots and lots of money. Year 2, I need a little bit more. And then year 3, I'm going to make lots and lots of money. It's just this J-curve. Insert your company name in Calibri font 14 in the top center. Okay. So, and we all see this, right? We see this all the time. And yet our reality, our experience is not the same. So for me, it's about the individual. Yesterday, when I had somebody pitched to me yesterday, before they even arrived, I went into my network and I go GBU, good, bad, ugly. Is this person good, bad, or ugly? How do they operate? So for me, just coming back into my final point here is the feel that I got from all of the pitches today was the entrepreneurs were excellent. These are fighters. These are people who will go and they will clamor. They will make it happen. Some of the ideas need a lot of twisting and shaping, but the entrepreneurs were incredible quality today. And that's really my lasting impression is some of the ideas were good, some of the ideas weren't so good, but all the entrepreneurs were good. That's my parting comment.
Right.
I'm happy to jump in. So I just think it's important to say to these entrepreneurs, I've had the privilege of knowing Alon, what's it been now? Close on 20 years, I think we've known each other. And there are some things I wish Alon had told me 20 years ago, because there's some off-ramps I wouldn't have taken in my life. And I feel the need to say to these entrepreneurs that life is not a pitching competition. It doesn't always come with the glitz, the glamour. Your name is not always on a certificate. And often the hours that count the most are the ones where you're the most in solitude. It's the struggles nobody knows about. It's the stuff that never makes it into the newspaper articles. And that the reality of this path that you're choosing, I promise you, is nowhere near as glamorous as it looks from the outside. I do think we've over-marketed it. I think we've oversold it. And I just think entrepreneurs getting into this line of career need to understand that it really is about the long term. It's about impact. And you're going to have to dig deep at a time, often when you have nothing to dig into your reserves. The final thing I want to say is, for me, it strikes me as interesting that we're doing this competition at a time like this. When you consider that Slack was founded in 2009, MailChimp was founded in 2009, Microsoft in 1975, just in the middle of the global recession, Groupon in 2008. It's interesting that some of the world's most iconic and known brands today, Jesus, Apple was founded in 75 and had its rebirth in 2001. So kind of both times right in the middle of global financial crises. This is clearly a great time for innovators and entrepreneurs to start businesses. But the challenge, I think, for the long term is the recognition that the market as you identified when you start will change. Your consumers will adapt. Your customers will morph. And often the stuff that wins you the competition or gets you into a competition like this is sometimes going to be the very stuff that kills you if you don't know how to adapt very quickly. So I wish for you the ability to see those pivots and those points in the road and make sure that you can clip the apex as and when you need to.
Thank you.
Allow me to close on this then. I think first off is just to thank the other judges for this other platform that we do have. Let us keep communicating, let us keep talking. For the entrepreneurs who came on, all of you did a great job, but I'd like to echo what the fellow judges have just mentioned right now. And one of them is, if you're to move entrepreneurs from playing in the periphery of the economy into the epicenter of it, you have to do the work. Right? And you have to do the work in terms of social impact. You have to do the work in terms of the real grind. And what I mean that is to really put in the work. We're not talking about the aesthetics of things, right? We've seen companies like Airbnb built 12 years, and now they're saying in only 6 weeks during a pandemic, they're really at their all-time low. Redefined Properties is selling off some of its stakes so that it can aggregate half of what it can be able to keep. And so as South Africa, we are saying we need solutions that have that impact on our society. And we're saying we need to really bring in entrepreneurs who can do the work. And let's move this whole ideology of SMMEs into the epicenter of the economy. It's no longer small, medium-sized. We've seen Shake Shack completely obliterate an 100-year-old McDonald's. There's a time for now, and this is the time. And so we're telling entrepreneurs, please, there is no ego in the business of doing business. We cannot have that. You just have to keep doing the work. Put in 100%, 200% if you can. And that's it.
Thank you so much to the jury members and everyone who has come aboard in terms of ensuring that this competition is a success. Though we do have we did have some limitations, I think it was a great start. So this is something that I would like to push for to happen going forward. So the winner of today's startups will be representing South Africa at a global final in Dubai. We're just still busy with the finalization of how the event will actually go about. What's happening with the annual investment meeting? There's 80 startup pitch competitions that are happening around the world. So each country has a participating startup, and the winner for South Africa will then represent us there at the global final. The details will be shared with everyone in due course, because we have limitations in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic and who's going to fly and how countries operate and all of that. So there's still that confusion there. I just want to say on behalf of the organizers of the annual investment meeting, the board of directors of the Startup Mzansi Foundation, and the UAE Ministry of Economy, and the general team who has put in effort in ensuring that this pitch competition is a success. And of course, you, the jury members, and the participating startups, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is an exciting opportunity, and I'm really, really grateful for having you all participate in this movement. Yeah, I think that's just about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
All right.